All right, so can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
So before we proceed to the let's call this one module 3, assembly language 3, and then with the laboratory number 2. So does anyone has a question so far from what we did from the start up to the the latest one, the limited face to face? Where's that is one? Questions or clarifications? Anyone?
Ano, sir?
Okay. All right. So, of course, for those who attended the limited face-to-face last week, they will be the one who's only going to have a score, of course. So, I haven't checked this one yet, but it's okay if you didn't submit anything you yourself, as long as there is one who submitted the uh, screenshot or the not screenshot, the captured photo of what you guys have submitted last week, the paper, then that's already enough. Okay, as long as I can see your names on it. Okay, so I'll be checking this one or I'll be grading this one one by one. Okay, for those who are present, of course, you will have a grade, and then for those who are absent, of course, you'll get a zero score for this one, of course, since you don't have any participation regarding with this activity. Okay, so yeah, your last laboratory before your midterm exam would be this lab number 2. So it seems that we were only able to finish 3 laboratories, but if we are going to count this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So it's like a total of 7 laboratories, including your limited face-to-face activities. So I'm not really sure if we can finish this one, the entire finals, since we still have one more activity for your limited face to face. So lab number 3 to lab number 7, but we'll see. Okay. So for today's meeting, luckily, I don't know what happened, but this module, this assembly language 3, is actually also under the lecture, which is the module 3B. Okay, so it seems that the module in lecture and then the modules in laboratory are quite the same for some reason. Some maybe or maybe including this one arithmetic and logic instructions. Arithmetic and logic, this one. Arithmetic and sequence, it's just that they have different namings, but they're actually the same. So similar with this one, the assembly language 3. The name of this one is assembly language instruction times 86 microprocessor. And in your lecture, it has a different name, which is called the instruction set, data movement or transfer instruction, but they are actually the same. So this is the one that we have in lecture, the module 3B, and this is the one that we have in laboratory. So you guys will see that we have here, assembly language programming, and then here we have the assembly language programming also. It's just that this one is an added name times 86 instruction, but both of them are the same. Okay. To those who has a lecture and laboratory, you may check these 2 laboratory. I don't know what happened with the modules of Mom Suarez, but it seems that all throughout they are the same. Okay, up to the last one, including the activity, of course. In here, it's called task 3.2. In here, it's your laboratory number 2, input output. So see, they are just the same. So yeah, we already had a discussion regarding with the module 3. So that is why I just compiled it so that we can save our precious time for you guys to, use the remaining time to finish the given activity. So basically, once you're done with the task 3.2 with the lecture, you can submit that as your laboratory number 2 in our laboratory, of course. Where is that? Right here, the input output, since they are just the same. So lab number 2 and task 3.2 right here, input output. Those two are the same. Okay, so basically, if you have lecture, then including the task 3.1, this is actually your lab number 1. Okay, so once you're done with task 3.1 and 3.2, then you can just simply submit that one here on the laboratory. So it seems that the laboratory is just a continuation of the activity supposedly. But I don't know why they had a modules right here. But anyway, I'll just simply follow whatever we have here. So since this is our laboratories, then I cannot just ignore them. Okay, so some of you has a laboratory only, doesn't have a lecture. So and vice versa, some of you has a lecture only, doesn't have a laboratory. So that is why I still required both section or both class rather, to submit everything. Okay, even though it's the same on the lecture or laboratory. So are we clear so far regarding with this one? So yeah, and this is the pre-made video. Again, this is the lecture last week with my lecture. So who are those people who has a microprocessor lecture? Can you guys give me a quick thumbs up just to let me know that you guys have the lecture? And who is your instructor with that lecture? Is it me or Ma'am Tere?
Ikaw po, sir.
Opo, sir.
Then that would be better. So we won't be having any problem just in case that there is an additional one in a lecture or kung may ano man tinanggal ganun or whatsoever. So don't you guys worry. Okay, it's okay for me if you guys have the same output. Okay, because basically they have the same question. Okay, so lab number 2 and then task 3.2. So they are just the same. Anyway, so this is an hour lecture. So I hope you guys have already tested or tried some of the examples on the module 3. Some of them doesn't work as it should be on the MU886. I don't know, maybe it because of the compatibility issue, since the one that was used by Mom Suarez was the DOSBox or TASAB. But supposedly they would work the same. But I don't know, maybe the versions also are one of the factor. But yeah, so I would like you guys to test them out also, since I did a lot of testings and then they are not working as it should be. So yeah, anyway, just watch that one later on. And again, for your last laboratory before your midterms, this laboratory number 2. So of course the coverage of your midterm exam would be of course from the module 1, or let's say this fetch the code, see the module 0 up to the assembly language 3. Okay, and then we have 3 more modules for your finals. So that would be all for today's meeting. Okay, so si Ma'am Teresa kay Tanikala. Anyway, is Ma'am Teresa giving the same module? Ay, ako ba? Okay. All right. Okay. So I guess we don't have any problem with that anymore since ako din naman instructor niya. All right. So yeah, your midterm exam is just 50 points, and this would be available. Let's check if I already put here the examination date. So that would be available on June 16. So you guys have a week from now to finish the laboratory number 2. So your midterm exam would be next week Thursday. Okay. So I hope we're clear with everything. Okay, so if you guys don't have any other questions or clarifications anymore, then you guys may now go. So glad to
Thank
take
you,
all of
sir.
you, and as always, thank you guys
Thank you,
for
sir.
No,
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too.